Hello, YouTube. This is another episode of the podcast for the recently diagnosed, which is my podcast for Parkinson's disease. I was diagnosed a few years ago and just chronicling things that go on in my life related to Parkinson's. So recently I talked a little bit about a meeting I had with the staff of Congressperson, my congressional representative Mace's office. There was hopes that perhaps she would actually be on the call, but it was her chief of staff who was on the call, which I guess is just as effective or maybe more effective. I don't know. Usually the people behind the scenes are the ones who actually get things done. So shout out for getting things done to her office. The meeting basically was about getting increased funding for the PADRECCs. And that's a term I really wasn't familiar with, so I'm going to just read this off. The PADRECCs is the U.S. military's research into Parkinson's disease and includes a number of clinics around the United States. And PADRECC stands for Parkinson's Disease Research, Education, and Clinical Centers. The closest one to Charleston is in Richmond, Virginia. So I'm looking to get into some telehealth connections with that PADRECC center to help with my Parkinson's, I don't know, whatever help they can possibly give me, which might be, medications or guidance or, doctor visits, so we can track what's going on and get me the help that I need. So what happened as a result of my meeting was that there ended up being, and it wasn't just the result of my meeting, but many meetings of many people around the country, but there was a $4.2 million increase in the budget for Parkinson's disease via the military. And that was represented a 40% increase from the budget from last year, which is pretty cool because they hadn't had an increase in their budget for quite a number of years. I guess like maybe 4 years since the last increase in their budget. I believe their previous budget was like 10 million, so now it's 14.5 million or something. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to just kind of basically make the same plea or just kind of bring you inside the circle. This is what I said when I was in that meeting, and I'm just going to do this kind of verbatim. So here it goes. Hi, I'm Robert Britt, and I'm a husband, a father of 4, a grandfather of 3, and a U.S. Army veteran. I live on James Island, South Carolina, right outside of Charleston. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 3 years ago, and that has had a huge impact on my life. I'm also an ambassador/volunteer for the Parkinson's Foundation, and I do, this year is a new thing. I'm doing grant reviews for the Fox Foundation as well, so helping local groups get money from the Fox Foundation for their outreach programs. My Parkinson's story started out like most stories about Parkinson's, with some unexplainable tremors in my left hand. I just ignored it, thinking it was just some passing thing or maybe just tied to age, because I've seen old people shaking and it just seemed sort of, part of the journey, and I'm 61 now. But the shaking and stuff didn't go away, and I started wondering what was going on, so I scheduled a visit with a neurologist who also happened to be a movement disorder specialist. Side note, most neurologists are not movement specialists, and there is definitely a shortage of movement specialists throughout the country. As I talk to people around the United States, many of them only get like one visit a year to visit with a neurologist who isn't even really a Parkinson's specialist. So that's a sad thing, but that's something that the PADRECCs centers can help, at least for military folks. During my first visit, that neurologist told me that my symptoms were Parkinsonian, which is a kind of a broad umbrella, because they can't really say, oh, you have Parkinson's, because at that time there was no, cut and dried way to tell. Now we've just recently had some updates in the diagnosis area where they can diagnose via a skin sample, or if they are doing a spinal tap, they can tell from your spinal fluids. But what I had done was called a DAT scan, which is a brain scan, which later confirmed the Parkinson's diagnosis. It's difficult to get a diagnosis, and there's no easy way. When I wrote this, there was no easy way to determine if you have it. I guess still a spinal tap is not an easy way. The skin thing is an easy way, but it's not in place for humans yet. They've just done research, but it's coming. I was then contacted to participate in a drug trial sponsored by the Fox Foundation, and I've been in that drug trial for about 16 months now. I have a couple more months to go on that. The drug trial is a double-blind study, which also means I don't even know if I'm getting the drug or maybe a placebo. Either way, the trial is important in the research for a cure. Parkinson's is a progressive chronic disease, and unfortunately my symptoms have progressed even though I go to the gym 3 times a week and do 30 minutes of cardiovascular training every day, as exercise is one of the things that is proven to help slow the progressions of Parkinson's disease. I credit the fact that I am kind of a lifelong gym rat to the fact that my disease has progressed slow, because I have had symptoms for quite a while now. I just didn't know it was Parkinson's related. I also take Sinemet 3 times a day currently. My tremors make it challenging to eat and drink. My cognitive abilities have diminished as far as executive function and advanced problem solving. This has forced me to retire from my position as a software analyst with the Medical University of South Carolina, as I could not stay focused on task and was easily distracted, both of which are symptomatic of Parkinson's disease. I've also had to face the fact that I have to quit playing bass guitar in a local rock cover band, which has been one of the great pleasures in my life. I actually played my last gig 2 weeks ago. It was a very bittersweet moment, and I'm not gonna lie, I ended up crying at the end of the last show, because just thinking I'm never gonna have that exact thing again unless a cure comes along for Parkinson's. My other pastime is writing. I've written a number of books, both fiction and nonfiction, and the new challenge is typing with Parkinson's-related tremors. It's sad to me that my 3 passions, which are my family, music, and writing, are all impacted negatively by Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease has turned my life and career path upside down. I'm lucky that many of my motor functions are not highly impacted yet, so I can still participate in life and events and enjoy my family. Many people who have Parkinson's are not so lucky. Parkinson's is very unique in that it has a varied impact on people. In other words, my symptoms and the next person's symptoms could be completely different. The disease is still not fully understood, and a lot of research needs to be done to help address symptoms while searching for a cure. Research is ongoing, but the disease impacts nearly 1 million Americans, and 90,000 more Americans are diagnosed every year. With enough funding, I'm hoping a cure can be found. That's why I urge you to support the funding of the Department of Defense's Parkinson's research program and any other effort to treat and/or end Parkinson's. Thank you for your time and any support you can provide. So that's what I said during the meeting, and I was told that I came across pretty well, and I made a lot of succinct points. Some of the examples I also gave them was like, I can't eat at a buffet or get together with friends very easily. I can't hold a plate and serve myself from a container or something, because the plate's just going to end up falling out of my hand. I used to do a majority of the cooking at my house, but the other day when I was making egg sandwiches for breakfast, I couldn't flip an egg in the frying pan due to tremor and control issues. So there are things that people don't think about for Parkinson's disease. You might see me walking around the neighborhood and I look pretty much normal. You wouldn't think that I have a disability, but it shows, I have good days and bad days. So some days it's more challenging even walking, and my foot drag shows, and sometimes I have a little bit of balance issues, but so far it's pretty good and I'm not complaining. It's the end of this episode. I know this probably wasn't super entertaining, but I wanted to get the information out, especially to know that the time and energy I spent on getting ready for the meeting with my congressional representative's office was worthwhile, and it was successful, and the funding got increased. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all comments and any questions anybody has. Thanks, and have a great day.